Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Sweeties.
We are two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, which can be, sweet, obviously, then sour, then sweet again, then bitter, then sweet, then acidic, then sweet, then spicy, and then at the end of the day, hopefully again, mildly sweet. Hi! We are so pumped to talk about Love After Lockup. This has been season 5 so far. We're at episode 8. Here comes the lie, all dressed in white, like little white lies. Wow, that really works.
Yeah, you did it.
Thank you.
You did it.
Well, that was a great episode. Bye, guys.
Well, she's here every Sunday and Monday for those jokes and or connections. Now, this episode, I am still disappointed in Chelsea's behavior. She kind of redeemed herself, but I wish that there was a moment in her confessionals where they asked her what the fuck her problem was.
I call foul.
Okay.
And the minute I knew it was foul was when she left for one hot nanosecond, turned, and then he was like, well, if she leaves, I'll never get back with her. Then she turns back around and she was like, you needed air. And it's like, ugh, I felt sharped, and I
Oh,
hate
okay.
feeling sharped.
Okay.
But I come back for more because I'm like, obviously addicted. So then, of course, and it happens a little bit again. So this is why I think it's also fake. So then, of course, after that moment happens, we're on the way to meet Hadley, which of course is Mikey's daughter. And a little backstory is that Mikey, the baby, Hadley was born while Mikey was in prison. So Mikey gets out of prison, and the baby is now like 3 or 4, and the baby with his now his baby mama's ex girlfriend, and he now out of prison decides to buy a stolen vehicle. So that is a dumb thing to do for anyone who's already been in prison. Because my mind is, so wait, you thought that you were just never going to get pulled over and then not have to like run the plates or not run the registration on this vehicle, and and it's like in my mind I'm like, so if you didn't steal it, I mean, it's just, first of all, obviously the dumbest thing possible. Okay. And like we don't have to get into maybe why, but it just seems like obviously a very dumb mistake. So that's probably why, like, maybe why I had like a certain, like, well, honey, mistakes and choices were made. But I'll tell you, we then go over there, and Chelsea again feigns this, like, I don't want to go inside. And we're supposed to believe that, like, she just doesn't want to have any part of it and she's like in a mood. But I also am like, well, this man hasn't seen his daughter in a second, and it's been 4 years or whatever. And so we get what we should get, which is actually the respectful decision, which is a hold back Chelsea while she lets Mikey go and see his beautiful daughter for like a hot second, for the first time in a second. I'm sorry why I keep saying second. I don't know what's wrong with me. But, and they get to like experience each other and hug, and she gets to have time with just her daddy, and she gets to ask her daddy to be like her special Valentine, yes or no. And he gets to fill in the bubble and tell her how special it is. And they have like heart chocolates, and like, it's incredibly sweet. And, it's weird to really be like, hi, it's been so long. This is Chelsea. This is Chelsea. Meet Chelsea. Chelsea. It's just kind of like, what? You need this moment. And Chelsea's a mom. Like, I knew this was a setup because, of course, what ends up happening is after they do have this beautiful moment, Mikey then does come out and is like, do you want to come out? And Chelsea's like, I'm nervous. She's not like, no. She's like, I'm nervous, which of course you would be. And then, of course, she comes in. They have the most beautiful time. And Hadley is a sweet angel that's learning sign language. And wow, what'd you think? I cried.
I didn't cry. I did think that
Oh,
it was sweet.
okay.
And this whole explanation that Chelsea is worried that he's going to leave her because she's never had a boyfriend that had a kid. And so this is uncharted territory for her. And when Hadley leaves, she's staring out the window, thinking that Mikey is just going to jump in the passenger seat and drive off with his ex girlfriend, slash Hadley's mother. And it was just so, it was a lot. They're adding a lot to their storyline, if you're right, and we have been sharp, that I just don't need.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't need it. I just didn't bloody need it. So yeah, that's all I have to say about them.
It's interesting that there was a weird like moment where Chelsea watches him kind of talk to Hadley's mom. And, definitely Mikey's like, listen, Hadley's been raised really well. Like, obviously, she's done a really good job. That makes me really, really happy. It's kind of like, we had a good time. Be safe. Like, it seems, I don't know what their situation is, but it seems very obviously very dry, cold, and minimal necessary information for someone who just came out of prison. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's been like a long time. She's still in some space, which I get it. Who knows what he did to her, but what her feelings are. And she obviously doesn't want to be on camera, but she obviously has allowed her daughter to be on camera. And
Which is interesting because usually they wouldn't let the kid be on camera. But yeah, so they were together and then he went into prison. He came out. Hadley was 6 months. He did his best. He wanted to see her. They broke up. So he bought a stolen car to travel back and forth to see Hadley. Then a series of other events, and he went back to prison. And now Hadley is 8 or 9. So I imagine this lady is like, I'm not going to stop my kid from seeing you, but hey, hope everything is good. What else you got to say?
I mean, it's supposedly a lot because at one point Hadley says the following things, that at one point she calls her mom a Karen and people bust up in that room. Did you hear that
Oh
part?
my God. No, I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, he's like, sometimes your mom can be a little bossy, right? She's like, yeah. One time I called her a Karen. You see Mikey's face, like, right to camera, like Jim, like the office take. Like, kids say the darndest things. And I was like, please, I wish I could watch it. The other thing that was also very cute in the scene is like, Dad, remember this thing? And then she brings him over to the little doorway where they've kept record of her height. And this is like such, a thing that I had one of these too, where you just would go and get, every year they would get a little pencil, honey, and they would take where your head is and just like draw a line, mark it, and that's where you were. And he's like, where were you when I last saw you? And she was there, and now she's bigger. And then of course he says, every other time I'll be here for it, which is incredibly sweet. And that's the kind of like thing where if you thought that I wasn't already crying, that's where I boohooed, hooed, like,
Oh.
okay. Oh yeah, I was already crying through all of it. Like frisbee, whatever. Like I don't even give a like Mrs. a Frisbee. I'm like bad frisbee. Like I already was. But when he said that I would see all the other times, I was like, what is this, like a Disney movie? I can't even. Okay, is there like a dog and a cat gonna be best friends? I can't. Okay, someone. That's hard. But that's all I have to say about that.
Is a fox and a hound going to be friends? Like, what is going to happen? Yes. So let's move on.
Okay.
Sheree and Anthony. I hate this storyline. Anthony is miserable. Okay. He doesn't want to be there. And every time anyone asks him, he lets them know. So we start off where she's in the house and her bestie, Sunny, comes over and they are so in love with each other. And then she's like, I've known Sunny, and I thought she's about to say for 10 years. And she's like, oh my God, Sunny is like my best friend. I've known Sunny for 2 years. And I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, like, oh my God. And then it turns out it's her work bestie, I think. They used to work together. And so
one's a bartender and one's a bottle girl, which it's like one of those. I love it. I love it. They had so much fucking fun. Like once they said that, I was like, oh, you just had the time of your goddamn lives. That's
yeah,
why.
work besties. I'm telling you right now,
In a
my
club
work
environment
bestie,
where you're just like flirting and doing one of the takes and having, oh my God,
But I mean, like, in what bar is this where these two are the bottle girl and bartender? I want to know where that spot is because that spot seems like it's gonna be fun as fuck.
I'll tell you also right now, guarantee they have a hookah section.
Because the hookah was Erwer.
Oh, okay. Am I
Schenectady?
Morocco? Where is
Yeah,
this?
Schenectady Black people love hookah, apparently, to the point where they have it in their home. I said, is this Chris and Mike Ferris home?
I have a beautiful shisha of decoration in my, not even in my apartment, but in my dad's house, but like not nary do we ever smoke it. We maybe used it once outside during a party, and it's a nightmare because you have to like do the coals and like that and like whatever. but in-house, not a never. Not a never. But like, yeah, it's I've been scarred because I worked at a hookah place, and it's just like the smell, like it's fun for a night, but the smell of it and the upkeep and the washing of it, it's a whole ass situation. It's so big. It's really hard to deal with. And so to smoke it once and to like take care of it, anyway, God bless. But we see it so much. It's obviously a part of like their everyday lives. Or I'm like, this does feel like, what are you, like grandpas in the middle of like Damascus smoking, shisha and Zangul? Like it's just so, it's everywhere. So, but yeah, like in the house, she brings her makeup artist. So now it's her friend, obviously. It's her cousin, which we kind of like meet a little bit. It's this makeup artist who comes in with a ring light, honey, the same one I can buy on Amazon. I'm using me right now, honey. I saw the graphic. I was like, you don't have to block it out.
Mhm.
She sets up shop and she's like, okay, like what's happening?
I
And
want my shit crimpy, crimpity, crimp, crimp.
I was so excited about that. And then the makeup artist is like, cool. And then you want me to just like do me or whatever? And she's
Mhm.
like, yes. And then doing me was this. Well, now when doing me, it was this. I'll tell you right now. I think her hair looked better than her makeup. And I kind of was like, all right, well, I think you should just lean into that.
Yeah,
The eyeliner wasn't tight.
it was so 2000 and like 15. It was very much what people were this is a YouTube tutorial. You know what I'm saying? This is like pre-pandemic.
Yeah. I guess it wasn't giving profesh, but it
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah,
giving
yeah.
someone on the road to something.
No, no, it's like what it is like black girl, like it's very much black girl aesthetic glam, but like kind of hood, but not. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like it's that, and it's like it is a look. It is a look. It was a thick black eyeliner, and it was just like chunky glitter, silver with like a purple, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it is,
Mhm.
everything is just so many yeah. I like just want to blend. I just like what are the
Yeah,
products and can it be like is it a Pat McGrath palette? Like what can we do to like really make sure that like we're anyway, God bless. But anyway, moving on. So then that happens and he comes in. Of course, now she's been calling him and of course he's late and she's been planning this and he
and
has to
she's
get
been
there
cussing
because
him out to people. She's been cussing him out to everybody in the room. So
yes,
he
yes, yes.
walks in and he's like, "What's up?" And everybody has like a mild attitude. And the only person that doesn't is Sunny. And Sunny goes over and hugs him like a normal person. And then she's like, "You're not gonna say hi to my cousin?" And then he's like, "Oh, who your cousin?" Like he's like, "Sunny's the only person who got up and said hi to me. Like I have to get ready." And then she's like, "I've been calling you." And he's like, "I was with my mother. So what did you want me?" I mean, that every time I see that mother, I's like, you're doing too much and not enough. It's almost like if you're not gonna put makeup on your face, then shave your mustache. If you are not gonna put
Oh
makeup
yeah,
on your
yeah.
face, take off them lashes. That wig, ma'am, it's do it all, but don't do two pieces of it. It's like too much, Chris. It's too much.
If she just lightened the mustache, not even shave it, just lightened it a little bit, and then, but also just so that just took that down a notch. I'm not even saying take it off. Just take the mustache down a notch, and then add a lip color. Then you would have the lashes and the wig, and everything be fine. That's all. I mean, that's all I would require. If
I
it is a
require some
subtle, that's
concealer too. I require concealer.
I really don't. And I will tell you this: what just for some reason shocks me so much is that I don't remember seeing in my life two people that look less alike. But
Then the
maybe I'm
mother?
holding my yeah,
Yeah.
and Anthony. And so the
Mhm.
only reason why I bring that up, and maybe what if you told me, Chris, families are families, and maybe she adopted him, and why are you being so whatever? And I'd be like, you know what, I get it. It's just that hasn't been explained to me, and so I forget when I see her who she is in relationship because that's how unlike Anthony she looks, or Anthony doesn't like their features are so wildly different to me that I can't place her as being sometimes I'm like, wait, is that her mom? I kind of forget a little bit. Anyway, because
I
why
mean,
again was she so prevalent around? But there's a lot of this story I think that we're being fed that, is whatever. And by the way, I couldn't even watch like the last part of it because it just was like boring AF.
it's
Well,
I mean, so dumb. So they finally get dressed. He has to help her put on some skin tight, I don't know, ugly ass boots. Which really, what you do is, listen, let me tell you,
hmm,
anybody who's trying to
yeah.
wear like a skin tight, stretchy leather boot, What you do is you fold it down like a sock, and then you put your foot in, and you try to get your foot in to the shoe part first, and then you pull it up like and unroll it like a sock. It's like you have to put it on like a sock, like a big
I
ass
can see
sock.
what you're saying.
Now,
You roll it as much as it can go down, because I guess I can see in some ways in which it might not go down if it's
yeah,
super tight, but whatever.
yeah. That's what
Do
you
you
do.
do you ever use baby powder? I mean, or some sort of, how about, is there something you
Or
can
if
use?
you use like if you put on a stocking, like if you get a really thin like stocking type sock that has slip, then it makes
Mhm.
it easier for your foot to go into.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
and we're getting into boot season, so
Yeah, I'm
timely
telling
tip.
you about this information. So, anywho, so they get dressed, they go to the place, and he immediately is like, "I don't want to be here. I hate every second of this. This is all Sheree's idea. I know she did it for me. She paid all this money for it, but the truth is I would rather be by myself alone at home. I don't want any of this." And so they get in there, and the producers are like, "Would you rather your friends be here?" And he was like, "No, I'd rather just not be here." So
Wait,
Sheree's
can I
like,
ask? Oh, go ahead. I just wanna
"No,
say one thing. It's weird
just
though
go."
that he's like, "Where's Junior? Where's Junior?" And she's like, "I don't know. Where's Junior?" And I couldn't quite tell if if his whole thing was like, "Bitch, you told me you invited Junior, and obviously you didn't invite Junior," or her whole thing is like, "No, I invited Junior, and all your other friends and your dumbass friends don't care about you. They didn't come." Right? Was there kind of like a moment back and forth? We're also He's like, "I don't wanna drink," maybe on camera, because I don't know, I just come out of prison and there's like other, there's like probations. He's like, "I don't care about you to sit here with the pose with these drinks. Pop this." He's like, "I don't want." He's like, "Pop it." He's like, "Well, for you, fine." Like there was those two awkward moments, right?
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
On.
Oh, yeah, you said all the things I was gonna say.
Oh no.
We can move on.
I didn't think those were like passing fancies.
Oh, no, I was fully gonna talk about him being forced to open that bottle. What else happened? Those are my 2 things. There was more hookah,
The
uh
dad comes, then they like talk and they have
yeah.
their man to man
Oh, yeah,
conversation.
they have their man to man, and he's like, "We're never gonna be friends." And I was like, "That's a terrible way to start this conversation. You guys should be friends. What are you talking about? You're never gonna be friends. Why wouldn't you be friends? You're raising the same human being. You should be friends. That's only gonna make your camaraderie with this human being good." I don't know. The mom. Can we get back to the mom's face? I mean, I just like that's the only kept. I just
Mhm.
keep going back to the mom. If there's gonna be a problem with Rich, then I'm telling you because Anthony is my son, my one and only son. It's like, lady, okay. You want an
Yeah.
award for having one son?
Yeah, people definitely claim ownership of people, you know?
Yeah,
It's kind of hard, yeah, you
it's like
know?
a thing that I guess when you have the children, they're yours.
I never had one.
I have, and they're mine.
Well,
Um,
I've had that one, and that one's not mine.
yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. That one. Okay, ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm sorry I messed that up for you. Go ahead.
No, it's
Okay.
fine. That's just what I was gonna. That's you talked about it all.
I love you. Okay.
Um, Joy Nami.
Wow.
The note says Joy Nami. No, so we're moving on to Joy Nomi and Red. I haven't like listen, I know that people like Crown Royal Apple, but I've never heard anybody ask for it. I have never thought to go to a bar and ask for it. I didn't know people just stocked it. Do they people stock all flavors of Crown Royal? Or do you must you be in certain areas where kinfolk reside?
I guarantee you that at most bars, they probably do have it. Like, I bet you because like, I feel like most bars have a flavor of Smirnoff, Like, you know how like, it's been a hot ass minute, but like there used to be like flavored like raspberry or still like
Mm.
like I remember ordering like raspberry stoli or something like that, like like maybe like a better version of that or something. But so yes is the answer, and I will also say I think there's also a thing where like Crown Royale caramel is a thing. I think that Crown Royale has different flavors. Now, I don't know exactly what it tastes like because the only like apple or whatever would be like Smuckers or like but Pucker's apple, sour apple, disgusting. Or Maduri was considered like an apple liqueur, I think, or whatever. And so I'm not quite sure what it tastes like, but let me just say this. So obviously she's like, he has to stop by his mom's house, and she's like, "All right, just 10 fucking you get 10 minutes." And I mean, it's starting the cock down, literally, countdown now. And he's like, "Okay." So he walks in. The mom knows immediately what's happening. She's like, "That bitch is outside. She'll wait, honey. She'll wait," or whatever. LOL. And the mom is bringing it in deep, like, "Why the hell do you have to like move? You know, like, don't you have to get your life together?" And he uh, does not want to stay. So that's one thing is it isn't like Red's like, well, I want to maybe stay and I'm gonna miss my family. Red's like, give me out, honey,
Mhm.
give me out.
Mhm.
So then they do go to the hotel, which is what they want to do because they want to what? Bone. And they can't even, by the way, this is part that makes me a little bit interesting, but maybe this is just like how much they want to bone. They don't even it looks like they have like a keyless entry, like they didn't have to check in, or maybe they just like didn't give us a check-in person because that person didn't sign the release. You tell me. But they don't even go to the elevator and up to the room to, like, drop off things. They, like, barely make it in the hotel bar, and he's like, "Oh my god, bar," and that's when we pick up this thing. In my mind, I'm like, "Babe, just let's absolutely just drop off this fucking luggage, right? Like, we're gonna be here all night. We paid for this. Can we just go upstairs and drop it off and then come back down?" And then but what ends up happening is they just drink, immediately go upstairs, and never be seen again, right?
I have a question. Do you
Yeah.
think that that was his first time actually sitting at a bar ordering a drink? Because I think he went to prison at 19, right? Like, really young. Like, I think that was his first, like, legal time being able to sit at a bar and drink, and then he's, like, complaining to her that he's like, "Man, I'm ready to go upstairs," and she's like, "I've been trying to go upstairs. Like, can't they not order the beverage and go upstairs? Is there no room service?" I mean, it's probably too much, but I think she's the same hotel she stayed at. It's a lot. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But also, they pulled up to the thing underneath. They didn't even park. They just pulled up. Was there valet? I had so many questions.
You
I
were
was
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I had a lot of questions. I didn't understand what was going on at
I
all.
actually know the answer. I bet you anything it was like a Hilton or a Marriott keyless entry where she didn't have to check in. She already had a room. It's like all on the app or
Oh.
whatever. That's what I would assume. Um, by the way, the word hooch is just such a specific word.
Mhm.
But I guess moonshine is a specific word.
I
And I
always
don't
think of moonshine as being clear and made of potatoes, and then I think of hooch as being made of sweet, like peaches. I think of hooch as being made from fruit. I don't know why. I'm not saying it's right.
yeah. When she says it, it hits though. I'm like, hooch. It makes me think, I don't know, it feels a little dated.
Mhm, 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 mhm.
Where I'm like, sometimes like join on me, I'm like, who are you? Are you like 55?
But I think that's what they call it in prison. They specifically call it hooch.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Well,
I so they get upstairs and apparently he went down on her for 2
2
hours.
hours.
I don't want that. It's too much. I don't want it at all, actually. It doesn't do anything for me.
Some people would say you didn't have it right then.
Okay.
Some people. I'm
Yeah.
not I'm
No, no,
just
no. I feel like I've been
people
told
have
that
said that to you.
before. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. People said that to me before, and I'm like, "Nah, they are doing everything," and I am just like, "If you enjoy it, then do it."
You know what? Yeah, he has been 10 years and he's been reading a lot of magazines. I'll tell you one part interesting part is that he's like, "I've been reading a lot of the magazines that on Playboy so I would know what women want." And I was like, "What the
Playboy.
fuck does Playboy
Yeah.
think women want?" Like, it's like in your mind, it's like, what's the highbrow men's manic? You GQ or something like that? Esquire? I don't know. I'm trying to think of like highbrow men magazines. But then in my mind, I'm like, would you would you want to read a men's magazine, a sex men's magazine, a highbrow men's magazine, or a women's magazine that's like Cosmo or a women's sex magazine to try and figure out what women want? But like, what does Playboy say women want? I can't imagine it's real, right?
Yeah, I honestly don't know unless you were just listening to like a panel of women talk about because even the types of like books that I read, I don't think that that is a good example of what women want because that is a fantasy, sir. If you even try to emulate any of that without having a conversation about it with me first to make sure that consent has been given, there's a fucking problem going. But yeah, so they had sex all night and then I just kept talking about it. I loved how he stopped them at the elevator though, and he's like, "Nah, you're not coming." Like it's like Mikey too. Mikey didn't even let him get into the hotel.
Yeah. Yeah, and when well, and then nothing happened for him. So,
Yeah.
um,
She
but
takes him to get his hair done, right? Is that what
yeah,
you're gonna go on
yeah.
to?
Yeah, I had closed it because I tried to look up, what Playboy would say, that I couldn't find an article, because 'cause I'm, like, fascinated by that. I'll do it in my own time, don't even worry about it. But he straightened her hair, I thought that part was interesting. But yeah, then she, you know and they also talk about how they've never showered with other people, and so that was a big deal for them to be able to, like, have sex and then go, shower, and,
I love that.
the things that we know about her, I was like, I hope that this is, like, somewhat healing for her.
Mhm.
Um, he said that he, like, drives in his head on the way to get his hair done. I thought that was interesting because I don't. I don't know roads very well, and I was like, "That's probably something you do if you have a different kind of brain than me, and good for him." But then this part is bananaramas and obviously a sharpism. But here we are. We're fine. This is what we're here for. So he goes to get his hair done. Wah. Do you want to tell the rest?
No, I would like to go back to driving through your head. Now, do I do that? No. But I always go to myself. I don't quite remember how to get there, but I know that when I get to that intersection, I'll remember. Sometimes I do remember and sometimes I don't. But I have a fear or had a fear when I was younger of getting kidnapped because I watched a lot of Lifetime television for women. And I think it was my mother's only way of kind of instilling in me certain things that she couldn't audibly sit down and have a conversation with me about. And being kidnapped was kind of something like I watched this movie starring Halle Berry where like her children got stolen. There was a movie where a kid was kidnapped from her front yard and like put in a trunk and she didn't know where she was going. Then there was like Not Without My Daughter starring Sally Field. There's like a lot of movies, right? And so I never wanted to be lost. I never wanted to be one of those kids who got in a car and was like, I don't know where I am. So I always watched. I always was like, and so now I'm just one of those people. Unfortunately, GPS has messed me up. And so now I don't even now I make sure to not put the lady talking to me on. I make sure I'm just looking so that I can know where I'm going. And then the next time I go to that place, I try not to put GPS on.
Oh, I won't do it. I won't do that. I'll never get there.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for bringing up 2017's Kidnap with Halle Berry, one of the most beautiful movies of all time, Kidnap.
That was from
2000
2017?
Yes, it was. So at first I was like, is Waz saying this movie was, like, somewhat scarring on her childhood? And I was like, "Well,
She was an
babe,
adult
you look
then.
young." Honey, she looks she's like this is like Waz' real manipulative way for us all to believe that she's 2 years old.
Wait a minute. No, no, no. I don't okay, maybe that was just, like, the end of it, but, like, maybe that was just the last movie I saw where I was like, "Yep." But no, there
That
was
can
an
still happen to me now. I'm
yeah, there's a
32, but it
yeah,
still could
yeah.
happen to me,
There's another yeah. No, I don't
What
wanna
a
be
friendly age I just called you just now.
I don't wanna be lost. I don't want to not know. That's one of the hardest thing it's been since being here of like, "Damn, if this GPS goes off, I'm not gonna know where I am." Oh, so annoying. So that's why I forced myself to know where I am at because I just won't. It's not even a New York subway. New York subway is just it's clear. I'll eventually get to something I know. Over here, I will be just driving in the sticks, in the boonies. No, don't understand it. The streets don't go north, south, east, west. They will turn and go south all of a sudden and then go back to being north. Anyways,
Yeah, where the streets have no name. That
yeah, it's like wild.
Well, that shouldn't happen to you, and don't think about it. It will never happen to you. Definitely don't have nightmares about it, especially not tonight. Anyway,
I
so,
won't. But anyway,
think
so he
about
gets to this
oral
lady.
sex for 2 hours instead. Sorry, go on.
He gets this Kenya's house or Kenya gets or in Kenya or Keisha, I don't know. He sits down and this lady with the K starts to do his hair and it's been a minute since he's gotten his hair done and then his bestie he calls his bestie named Julie and apparently they were best friends or whatever and then maybe she liked him and he was like nah cuz that face though and but then he realized that he could use her for money and then she went to prison. So in total, she sent him 3K. I don't know. You think they smash?
I don't understand when they yes. Sorry.
Okay,
I think that
Yes.
they have smashed, and that's why she was like, "Am I supposed to call you bestie?" Now, I was like, "Is this a real person?" when he was FaceTiming her. Like, I couldn't like, I mean, God, it's so this is I'm old. Because she looked like an anime character. Like, I couldn't tell if
Very
I was
pale.
looking. Yeah, but with, like, you like, cosplay anime vibes in her, like, eye makeup and, like, hair color choices, and she is a very smaller, like, delicate looking piece of work, and so, like, in this FaceTime, it's, like, very, like, woohoo, and I'll tell you right now, no one loves it more than this hairdresser,
Yeah.
who literally, when Joy Nomi walked in, had a very pointed set of back and forth, which was this. She'd come in. Joy goes, "I'm Joy. This is Red," and the hairdresser's like, all right." And then they're like, "We're here for Kenya." She's like, "I'm Kenya." And then Kenya goes, "Nice to put a face." Then Joy's like, "Okay, I'll see you later," and sits down. So that's when Red, of course, is like, "Yeah, hold up, bestie." And so, of course, now she's watching this like man cheat on Joy with, and is like, "Eh, who's that? Who was that, sir? Excuse me, sir. I've been right here the whole time," which, by the way, seems so rude. Look, think about this honestly. If this is not fake, how rude is it to have someone be doing your hair right here? This person is right here, and you FaceTime here. Like, there's not a chance in hell you don't think this person right here
Oh,
who
black
is
people.
looking down and
Oh,
what?
black
Oh,
people. Let me
okay.
tell you
Okay.
this is
Tell me.
black
Classic?
people.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, classic. I have been in elevators where black people are just on FaceTime fully, just full time, full conversation. No headphones, no nothing, just like full. Like yeah, no. Full
But, like,
FaceTime
he's
conversation.
openly cheating with on his girlfriend that she just met in front of the girlfriend's gonna come back.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
it's one thing to have a out I'm sorry, it's not just have a loud conversation. It's,
Is he cheating though? He said that's his best friend. Is that cheating what's happening?
"Hey, bestie, how do I look? I
He's
mean,
just
you look
being
hot."
he's being Dirts McGurts, like, he's being dirty, but, like, he's not cheating.
"When are we gonna hang out? You gotta tell me when, can we? Gotta make some sweet time for me, but it's gotta be on the sweet side."
Mhm.
"Okay."
Okay.
Sh Anyway, yeah, I mean, God bless. So, uh, the hairdresser does do, like, a really good work on him.
Mhm, mhm.
I just wanna say that. He looks really, really good. Um,
He's quite cute.
he is,
Mhm.
like, yeah, how much time do I get with you? Okay, do you wanna move on?
Mhm.
Who do you wanna move on to?
Rock and Brittany.
Here we are. So this is a storyline that's all over the fucking place. I mean, I can't. I, I feel like the producers are doing too much here. Like, don't. This is all over the fucking place. Like, can you give us like one story? Can you give us like one overarching storyline? It's like so much. Anyway, go ahead.
They fight constantly, and I think Rock is a straight up dick. And he acts like an old mother. Like an old,
That
"Oh, you
part.
got time to hang out with your friends, but you ain't got time to go to school? Oh, I thought you said you was working on yourself. You about to go to brunch? You should be using the time you going to I mean, that's literally what my parents used to say to me all the time. I'm like, "Oh, I'm tired." And they're like, "Okay." And I go lay down, but then a friend calls and says, "Hey, you want to come over?" And I'm like, "Yes." And then I go to my friend's house. "I thought you said you were tired." And I'm like, "I am, but I'm still going to go hang out with my friend who brings me joy, and I'm going to be tired at their house too." So weird. Why can't I be tired at somebody else's house where I could just chill? I used to love going to my friend's house and where no one would bother me. I could just sit on the couch and watch TV. No one would be asking me to clean anything. Nobody would be asking me any fucking questions. Nobody would be throwing water on me. I would just go
Throwing
and be
water
at
on
peace.
you.
Wow, how quickly we forget. Yeah. Oh, that memory is gone from her head.
I throw water on you?
No,
Your daddy did?
no.
Your mommy did?
Mhm.
Oh, because you were
Wow, wow.
oh, okay, sorry, sorry. I, like, forgot a little bit, sorry.
You didn't forget a little bit, you forgot.
Wog gets really, really sensitive if you forget, like, one small detail real but n anytime you bring up all the other things, it's like, "That never happened," you know? It's just that one thing. Anyway,
That's a big thing. It's a very traumatic memory that I once shared with my good friend Chris Farrell,
alright.
not nary 3 weeks ago.
Now,
What's Becky Feldman's number? Let me text her right now. I bet you she'd remember. Just
I'm
kidding.
sorry, I'm
Just don't
sorry.
worry.
There's been
Anyways.
a lot happening in my own space. But yeah, I get you, I get you.
I know, I'm just
Let's
kidding.
get let's you know what's also happening a lot in Brittany and Karak's space, in specifically too much fucking happening. If it's not kids, it's surgery, it's top surgery, it's hormones, it's then suddenly a problem, it's beauty school, it's moms,
Beauty
it's
school dropout.
I
Beauty.
know.
Did you think that? Didn't make
No
enough
graduation
average.
day for you, beauty
Beauty
school
school. Beauty
dropout.
school dropout.
Missed her midterms and flunked shampoo. Well, at least you could have taken time to wash and clean your clothes up
Ooh.
instead of all. The doctor
Listen.
fixed your nose up. I don't know. I never played
Yeah,
this
yeah,
part,
you're right. You're
obviously.
right.
Sorry. La, la, la. But, anyway, so, yeah, so there's, like it's just, like, God, there's, like, no good things to, like, hang your hat on. There's no sweet moments, I don't know. They also keep playing at being adults and being successful already in a relationship in a way where it's kind of like what Rob and Sophie wants to do on 90 Day Fiancé. It's this kind of playing house. Like, I thought it was weird when they started buying designer things right out of like prison, where I'm like, babe, like you cannot possibly be needing to spend the hundreds on that designer shit. You haven't gotten there yet. Like, that's why I want to say to Brittany, like, Brittany, you're not a wife.
Yeah.
You're not a wife. What are you
Yeah, yeah,
talking about?
yeah.
You're
Trade
a
out that
22-year-old.
Mercedes.
Yeah.
Trade out that Mercedes and get you like a Nissan Sentra, a 2011 Nissan Sentra. Like, this is what you should be driving. Like, it just feels like they're playing house, living in somebody else's house, making some kind of breakfast meal with Kraft cheese. I just was like, what's happening?
Yeah, this whole like I just got to be a wife now cuz like now I'm giving him a shot. So, I got to do the shot once a week. That takes time out of my life but this also the scene of the beauty school seemed interesting too. It's like everyone's on camera, everyone has signed their life away. People are going to cry. It's a whole thing. And I don't know. So, yeah, like that happens and Karak is feeling some type of way which is to not do it. And then of course when she gets out she then decides that the reason why she wants to quit, it's not because she is tired or she has to do the nails and the beauty and like he's out of prison, and not that she wants to be somehow like a suburb homemaker wife suddenly and like that's the life that she wants. It's that she is not spiritually aligned and she's been slipping for a while. She's slipping spiritually. Now, this came like a bat out of hell. Like they've hinted at some god shit or whatever, but like I think when this happened, I was like, "What? You've been slipping spiritually? Like what does that mean?" Like I don't understand. That means like, look, I haven't been praying and I've been like, is that a cry for mental help? Is that like I need some time? Like I don't know what she needs, but what is happening is that she's not saying it specifically like I need this is overwhelming and I need to like take a step back. But she keeps throwing everything else as the reason why. And that's what people are like, fuck no, it's a dumb idea. You should go to school. But instead she's like, the wife, I gotta be a wife. Oh no, I'm slipping spiritually. I'm slipping spiritual. And also
Yeah.
what the fuck again does that mean, Juan? What does that mean to you?
Well, I mean, it means to me as like a former godly Christian
Okay.
is you go to church at least at the very least once a week. And really you should be going twice because you go on Sunday, but then you go some other time during the week to either usher board meeting, choir practice or to help on Saturdays volunteer to feed people or whatever, right? So you should be going to church twice a week. Go ahead.
Is there more than one mass in was there more than one mass in the week? Like for instance, Catholics, there's a mass every day. There's
Yes, there's
morning
more
mass
than one. There's more than one mask, more than one service. So
service.
there's 3 service on Sunday, and there can be a Friday service at some point. Not all the time, but yes,
Is it slightly different or is something fun
depending on
happen?
depending on the denomination. No, it's not different. My denomination did not. My denomination only had church on Sundays, 3 services. Other denominations of Christianity will have a Wednesday service or a Friday service or a Wednesday and a Friday service, depending on the denomination.
Were you in choir?
I was in choir and usher board.
So when choir, tell me what choir was like.
Choir practice?
Yeah.
We would go in. So we were standing every fourth Sunday of the month. So every fourth Sunday we had to be there at 6 a.m. because we are 7 a.m. because we had the 8 a.m. service, the 10 a.m. service, and then the 12 p.m. service.
Ugh.
And then so the following maybe Friday night, I'm not sure, I don't remember what day practice was. Following Friday night, we learned a new song, and then we would practice that same song plus like another little one because we sang 2 songs. So we would learn 2 songs. We sang 2 songs through every fourth Sunday. So we learned 2 songs each week.
Did you ever host solo?
No. Soloists were very specific people who were friends and were very talented, yes, true, but also were in the cool kids camp, and I was not. And there would be times though the mic would be passed and I might grab for it if it was a 12, the last service where we got to sing longer and it was more of the young people. But then I was on the usher board too, but the youth usher board only did ushering or only ushered on every 5th Sunday, which doesn't happen every month. There's only like 5 Sundays a month, every like 4 times a year.
Yeah, I don't care about ushering. Okay, so I don't think anyone else does. Who cares about ushering? Anyway, so
Wow.
I don't care.
Wow.
I'll tell you,
Wow.
yeah, no one cares about
Wow.
it. No, it's only
No,
about
that's
me.
not true. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Maybe Catholic Church doesn't, but AME absolutely does. Usher board's a big deal. You see people. You have so much power.
You don't even have any talent.
You've never heard of usher steppers?
I've heard of steppers.
Oh yeah, no, usher step.
Oh, okay, fine. You're right. Okay, I mean, I do. You're right. But look at this. Okay, so but I also should get back to this. So let me tell you this. Another information, by the way, that I thought was interesting is Key Rock paid for Britney's beauty school because Key Rock had a sugar mama who was like some woman's aunt that just like saw a picture of Key Rock. Was like, he's hot. I'm gonna send him money. And like, I'm just gonna tell you this: my entire life, no one has thought that I have been hot enough to just give money to me. Ever. In my entire life, has someone been like, you know what? Just because you're fucking, here's some money. I like you. Like,
It's great.
I'm so mad.
It's great.
I'm really mad.
So
I've worked so hard for nothing. Okay, that's what I have to say.
Anyway, so she's slacking on her spirituality, which is so fucking stupid because what do they want her to do? And he's such an angry Christian in that, like, yeah, you are okay, then do whatever you got to do for the Lord. But it's like, what are you doing? You're the meanest person ever. Anyways, let's move on to Melissa and Louis, which I mean, I don't know. I watched it on YouTube, and so nothing happened on my end. I don't know. I saw him crying on his mama's lap because she was leaving.
No, it's not that. We were sharped.
Okay, what happened?
We were sharped a fucking again. And I just can't even believe it. Let me tell you this. So, after hot off of Melissa, having this second season with Louis where he's out and they did their prison thing and he went and did the pizza. It's time for her to go, and she has been complaining about the following things. A, that she thinks he's going to cheat on her. B, because he has to stay here for whatever amount of time. Now here is one really good thing is that Louis has the grace, at least in his life, that he just gets an automatic job out of prison. What a gift. I mean, I'm not saying that, twirling pizzas is like an end all be all, but like, it is hard to just suddenly get money, have a job, or at least you have something in friends that are just going to be like, yeah, buddy, whenever you need it. And
Yep.
so I want to give him that. But basically what ends up happening is Melissa and him talk more about the teeth because, it's either 35,000 or 7,000. I don't like care so much about the teeth. I'm like, we don't need this much back and forth. You guys do what you need to do now. But anyway, he's going to drop her off. He like, is sad she's gonna go. She's sad he's gonna go. But it's funny because it's not particularly romantic between them. It doesn't feel like that romantic to the point that we get sharped, which is that we are offered a scene in which we think that Louis breaks down to his mother and how sad he is that Melissa's leaving. But what ends up happening is Melissa drops him off at his parents at his mom's house, and she has to go now to the airport. He's not going to the airport at all, which I just thought me isn't a kiki either because he can't drive the car, whatever he does. He has just no money, I guess, whatever. So then again, they're outside. Donna's like, come inside. And Melissa's like, you just fucking give me one goddamn moment. You're about to have him. I'm about to go. I'm late. She's like, you're always late. So anyway, she leaves. And then Louis goes inside to Donna's house. She's like, want a meatball? Want some noodles? And I'm just like, he's like, no. She's like, I'll give you some anyway. You got to eat. I'm like, no, he doesn't want your disgusting noodle. We saw what that was like. So then it's like, I want to start my life with Melissa. And Donna's like, but what about me? Why am I here, Louis? And Louis like, because you got a job. It's because what you did to me, and I'm Louis, I'm here for you. What would you do with it? How are you going to not think of me? And I'm just like, this part is horrifyingly scary. Like Donna's, possessiveness and the way that she will just get her claws in her son and say the things that like you don't say to a grown ass man. Like let him live his fucking life is bananas.
Yeah. Or go with him. Move back to New Jersey. You're
Yeah.
retired. Get you a little, sell all your knick-knack and fucking paddywhacks, and
Hmm.
go get you a small apartment in not far from him.
Yeah. But just to like try, yeah, don't fucking guilt your son to stay with you. Like, let him live his life. He's been in prison this whole time. And no shit, being stuck by you did him no fucking good. And
Yeah.
you did him no good because you enabled him to the point the only thing that got him off drugs was like jail. But he said, to his point, like he manipulated her, he, stole money from her, and she just kept coming back, which it's like one thing to be a stable, loving mom that's loyal, but it's another thing to be like a mom that you think emotionally, emasculates. Oh, that's a horrible word to use. Sorry. Or like it's like but she does. She's like, it's not emasculate. She's codependent on her son.
Mhm.
And does not see her son as an adult, much less a man, much less an adult anyway,
Mhm.
worthy of his own domain, or even or has his own ambition to make his own statement in this world or like status, which is sad, you
Yeah.
know?
It's very sad. It's very sad. So, I mean, I think he does need to get away from her, but I
Oh,
mean, if
oof.
push came to shove, like her moving somewhere near him would be the best bet, I think.
It's true.
Oh, you guys, we did it. We made it through. Um, Thank you guys so much for listening to us. If you want to see the visuals of what you're listening to right now, you can join us on patreon.com/docusweeties, $10 a month, and you get to see what you're listening to, as I said just now, but you also get to have the episode immediately after we are done recording it. You get a live every first Monday of the month, which is tomorrow, happenstance.
Mm.
And other little goodies like you're going to get to see the visuals of the podcast that we did with Reality Gaze. You're going to see that if you join us on Patreon.
Yes, that was the 90 Day Fiance season 10 episode 5 we did, which was so much fun, and a two-part. It was such a long night of us drinking wine, and I mean really you can really see a progression on me of where I was in the beginning part of the night and where I was at the end. So but that was fun, and we love hanging out with them. It's just like literally hanging out with like quads, like just friends,
Yeah, it's
being
great.
ridiculous. I'm almost forgetting that we're on camera. Anyway, so that was really fun. We love you guys so much. Thank you so much for listening. Give us 5 stars if you haven't yet. And other than that, you know, God bless. We hope that you are not spiritually slacking.
Yeah.
We want you to be sweetly sweeten.
We
Sweeten.
want you to step it up. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
we want you to usher step it up.
yeah. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.